Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be discussing a story time on when I was homeless and how I dealt with it, how I overcame it, and give some tips for anyone who is currently going through it and need some advice. So this video is for those people, and basically to just tell my story of what happened with me and how I overcame it. So if you're interested in knowing how I overcame it and knowing my tips and my advice on it, then please keep watching. Okay, so this video is going to be kind of long because it's a backstory to now. And for y'all to understand my story time, I have to go back where it all started for me, me being on my own. And then I can give you guys tips on, basically what I did to survive it, and maybe it might help somebody. So currently, for those of y'all that don't know, I am 29. When I became homeless, I was 25. 6 years before that, I had got into a relationship right out of trade school. I went to regular high school, but then I decided to go to trade school so I can get a trade, get some experience, and then also get my high school diploma. So like I was basically killing two birds with one stone type thing. So my dad is the one that referred me to the trade school Job Corps, and I went and I completed the program within, I went of October of 08, and I finished it by April of 09. So I completed it kind of fairly quickly. I took a high school diploma class, which I already went to a high school and my credits were able to transfer, so I really didn't need to be in that high school diploma class that long before I graduated out of it. So I was probably in there like a month and a half, and then I graduated out of it. Job Corps for me, I might do a whole separate video on Job Corps, but basically for me, it was like a lot of waiting around. Like they had me on waiting list for the high school diploma class and a waiting list for my trade, and I was doing a lot of waiting around. So during that waiting around, I met people, I met friends, I hung out with friends. They had a lot of stuff to do up there. Like they had like an old movie theater. They had like a rec center and like a little incentive store that had like little snacks and like hygiene stuff that you could buy. So anyway, I met my ex there, and while I was waiting around, I had a lot of downtime. Whereas he was already in his trade, he had been there for like a year or something more by the time I got there. So he was on his way out. But I graduated with my own class. He didn't, obviously. But I met him there. And we hit it off like almost instantly. We had some bumps in the road, like an ex was trying to get back with him, and basically said that she was pregnant and she lied and was like whatever. But that kind of like affected us a little bit, and it's important to note because throughout the years in the future, like things keep affecting our relationship, which leads to like us ultimately separating. There's so much stuff that we done been through. It's just like, it was really bad. Like it just kept building and building up over the years. But I met him there, and my plan going to the trade school was to get my trade, get my high school diploma, and then move back home, because that was in Edinburgh, Indiana. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. So I was supposed to move back home once I got my trade and my high school diploma, and then get a job, and then, be with my family and stuff. Well, that didn't work out that way, because when I left there, I left with my trade, I left with my high school diploma, but I ended up moving in with him and his family, his parents. And I Like, even though I wasn't dependent so much on my family, they did help me. Or, when I needed a few dollars here or there, they would Western Union me some money. And keep in mind, this is like back in 2009, so I was like 19. So they did still help me, but I wasn't living with them or anything like that. I was out of the house. Wasn't really dependent on my ex's parents either, because my parents were giving me money that I needed to survive. Buying my own food, I was, helping out with their house too. Once I started working, either I was working or I was in school. One or the two, I was doing something, I wasn't just in there doing absolutely nothing. And I'm not gonna mention no names because I don't want anybody to get, mad or whatever. And the only reason I'm talking about any of this is because it affected my life. So I feel like I have the right to talk about it. So yeah, like I was basically just living with him and his parents. And I didn't think that we would be there no more than a year, honestly. And we ended up being there for 6 years. Basically, the whole time I knew him and was with him, we lived with his family, his parents. And it was hard. It was really hard starting out and, deciding to go to college or working. Working wasn't working out. Working wasn't working. And so I decided to go to school. I went to Ivy Tech. And he decided to go to school. But then he ended up dropping out. And I was still in school. And his dad used to blame me for him dropping out. And his dad just didn't like anybody. He just didn't like anybody at all. He gave me a very hard time living in a house. And it put a strain on me and my ex's relationship, to the point where we would always argue about it. He would get mad that I was always arguing with his father. And, that strained our relationship a lot. And then not only that, but I had issues with one of his aunts and, one of his cousins. And it just was it was a lot of strain on our relationship. And on top of that, like, he wasn't there for me a lot. Like, he would always want to go over his friend's house and hang out with his friends and just leave me high and dry on like anniversaries or like birthdays. It was really hard, so it prompted me to not like want to do so much for him because he wasn't there for me. So I was like, not only am I not gonna do nothing for you, I'm not gonna be there for you either. And so I hardly ever cooked because I was like, why cook for someone that don't treat me right, and I never told him how I felt. Like, so he might watch this video one day and be like, what? That's why you didn't cook? Yeah, like, because he could tell you, like, he can attest to the fact that in the beginning, it was like the cupcake phase. Like, I cooked breakfast for him. I cooked dinner for him. I made him like birthday cakes for his birthday and stuff like that in the beginning. But then when BS started happening, I started slacking. I started being like, what, I'm not doing this for you. You're not, it's supposed to be 50-50. You don't do nothing for me, I ain't doing nothing for you. You ain't there for me, I'm not there for you. That's how it was beginning to be. And it just wasn't working out, but I would want it to work out for selfish reasons. I wanted it to work out so that I wouldn't have to leave and go live with my parents. That's not love. That's not love. Like, if I'm being 100% honest, that's not love. And that's just how I felt, though. I didn't want to have to go back with my parents, and depend on them. So I tried to make it work with him. And over the years, it just wasn't getting better. It was just getting worse. And then ultimately, he cheated on me. And after that, like, all love was lost. Literally, all love was gone. All love was lost. The whole time we were together, the whole 6 years, I didn't cheat on him not once. Not once. And it's just all all love was lost. I felt like he didn't love me anymore. He didn't care about me no more, and vice versa. His mom would give us money, but she would literally only give us like $10 a month. Like, that wasn't helping anybody, nobody. So I feel like I always had to do something so we could keep some type of money coming in, or I had to always hit up my family so we can have more money to get the things that we needed. It just was, his family wasn't really helping us out like that, other than allowing us to stay there. That was pretty much it. I was at work one day and he didn't work. His dad came and got me, picked me up from work, and he came with his dad, and then all of a sudden his dad was like, his parents was going to get a place together, a 1-bedroom, and we had to figure out what we were going to do. And it's kind of hard because at the time I was the only income, and like I said, he didn't work. And then not only that, but he had an older brother that was staying with him, and he was a little like, he was uncomfortable to live with. Like, after me being there, living with the parents and my ex for 2 years, the brother moved in. I guess his ex just dropped him off to his parents, and she knew what more to do with him, so she just dropped him off like a freaking lost dog or something. You just drop off to the pound or something. And then he lied to us at first. He said that he was visiting, but he ended up, like, she ended up just dumping him off to his parents basically. And he's like an older brother. He's older than my ex. He's like 10 years older. So at the time he was like in his early 30s or something, like late 20s, early 30s. So when we were told that we had to, move out, this is 6 years after living with his parents that they were kicking us out, So I didn't plan on living there that long. I didn't want to live there that long, nowhere near that long, but he didn't want to leave. Like, he didn't want to leave his mom, and he was just such a mama's boy, and he just didn't want to leave the nest. He even admitted to that. He can't really be mad at me talking about it because he admitted it. He admitted that after we left. We were being forced out, so he had no choice. He had no other choice. I didn't want to leave that way either. I wanted both of us to have a job and money saved up, but we had 6 years to get our shit together, And I lost out on a lot of money dealing with like different things. Like, at the time I didn't drive and I didn't have a car, and he would want me to put up money because I was the only one working. He wanted me to put up money to get a car, and I did, and that fell through, and I didn't get my money back. I lost out on so much money over the years because of things that he wanted, that he would try to justify saying it was for both of us, when it was only going to really benefit him, because he was the one that drove. He was the one that knew how to drive and all that. So the car would only really benefit him. But there was so many other things that I lost out money on over the years of being with him. And not only that, but I had to put up with his family and, trying to please his dad, and just nothing worked because he was just a hateful guy. Like, he hated everybody. Like, I think he even hated himself. When he was kicking us out, I was low-key kind of happy because now I felt like my ex had no choice but to move out, and we could finally be on our own. It didn't work out as good as I thought it would. As soon as he told us, we had like a little less than a month to get out, and I can't really remember exactly how much time we had, but I know it was under a month. I didn't have no money saved, and I was the only income. And I believe I only had one or two checks for this place, and that was it. And I went and was just like hunting down places. I went on my phone and I started like looking up different apartments. He went on the computer we had and he was just looking up places, and I just felt like, he'll sit here and say that he found the place first, but I feel like no. Because I'm the one with the money. I'm the one that's gonna get us in this place. I'm the one that got us in this place, So I found the place. I got us in there, and I paid the deposit. I paid the first month's rent and got us in there. And I have the video up on YouTube that shows what the place first looked like. So if y'all are curious, I'll link the video down in the description. But when we moved up in there, I had we had no real like boxes. We used like mail boxes. I bought all this stuff for the kitchen. I bought all this stuff for the living room. Basically everything for the house, the living room, everything. The only thing he paid for our bed, and he had the TV, his game system, I forget what it was, but he had a game system, he had the bed, he had the TV, and the TV stand. And I want to say the mini fridge, I don't know, we had like a little mini fridge for when we had guests. We put it in the living room and had like drinks there. That was it. Everything else I bought for that house. And his brother ended up coming with us, which in all honesty, I did not want his brother to come with us because he was just a perverted creep that I did not like. He made me feel really uncomfortable. And I could say all this now because I don't talk to none of them. And this is just how I honestly feel. I felt like his brother was nothing but a pervert. And I can see why his ex dumped him off to his parents, because after living with the man for like 4 years, I know why. I now know why. You know, he was such a pervert. And he was so crude. And it was like, when he lived with us, the only reason I let him live with us is because, first of all, I was paying the rent. My name was on the lease. I was the lease holder. I got us the place. I put the money down to get us in the place. And if it wasn't for me, both of them would have been on the street, including me. So I felt like he should have been a little bit more appreciative of the fact that I got him in there with us. That I was able to get a 2-bedroom when I could have got a 1, and he could have been sleeping on the couch. You know, I got him his own bedroom. And all I asked for is what he said he was going to do in the first place, which is he got food stamps. So he said he was going to put food in the house for all of us. And he was going to give us like $100 to $200, close to $200 to go towards a utility bill. And so that's why I agreed to let him in there, on top of him being my ex's brother. So that's the only reason. That was the only reasons why I agreed. And I regretted it because I knew that was just going to put even more strain on our already broken relationship. So, but I still agreed. Because I was his brother and I wanted to help him out, you know, but I regret it. You know, we didn't need any more strain on our relationship. And while I was in that house, I had like some health issues that I later found out why I had those issues. I'm not going to put things on, you know, I'm not going to go too much in detail what those health issues were, but it was issues to the point where, you know, I would black out. It was just really hard health-wise. I guess it was all the stress that I was dealing with from the relationship and everything that we were going through. And then on top of that, shortly after getting into that apartment, I lost my job. So it was a lot on me to hurry up and find another job, as well as him to hurry up and find a job so we didn't lose that place. He ended up finding a job before me. His job was even further than my job. I lost my job because of transportation issues. He had a job that was far, and he would always get rides from women, and I was very insecure about that because of his infidelity in the past. You know, it was hard for me to get over that, and the fact that he would always get rides from women. I'm like, there's no men that's gonna give you a ride. Really, you gotta get rides from women? I did not trust him. I did not trust him at all. And I never forgave him for cheating on me. Because if you hold cheating over your significant other's head, you don't forgive them. You don't trust them either. And I didn't trust him. and I didn't forgive him. And I didn't like the fact that he was getting rides from women all the time. He was very sketchy about it. Very sketchy. Like, he would get a ride from a woman, and 9 times out of 10, it was always the same woman. And she would ride up to our apartment, and they would be just cooling it in the car, right? With the lights on for about 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden the lights would go off, and they would still be in the car with the lights off for like another 10-15 minutes. And this happened every night. If not every night, every other night. A lot. It happened a lot. And like I said, sometimes it was a different girl, but most of the time it was the same girl. The same one. And I would look over the balcony at them too all the time. Did I see anything? Did I see him kissing her? Or like, you know, any type of touching or anything like that? No. But who sits in a car in the dark for 15 minutes? Who does that? Who? And I feel like any other girl would feel the same way that I do. If your significant other has cheated in the past, and then they get rides from women because the job is so far that they get a good job, but it's far, and then the only rides they're getting is from women, and then they just sit in the car for close to 20 minutes with the lights off every night that they go to work and get rides from that same girl. You're telling me you're not gonna think something is up? And if the tables were turned and that was me in the car with a guy with the lights off for almost 20 minutes, that he wouldn't have felt some type of way about that if that was happening every night? Come on. And I cheated in the past? No, it would have been an argument every damn night. And eventually I did speak up and say something about it, because look, that's disrespectful. I felt like I don't know what was going on because the lights were off, I couldn't see. And when the lights were on, it was a lot of talking going on. And he claimed that, when I did speak up on it, the only thing he said is that he was just trying to pay the girl for giving him the ride, and when she would be able to give him another ride. That's what he told me. But it don't take 20 minutes to a half hour to pay somebody some money to figure out when you're gonna get another ride. Oh, I'll take you to work tomorrow. Give them the money. Does that take a half hour to do? No, it doesn't. It was so much strain. It was so much stress that it affected my health, and I had blackouts. Sometimes I had blackouts in front of him. He didn't care. I remember there was one time I was just sitting on the couch, like literally playing a video game, and he was in the kitchen doing something, and I had a blackout. Like, I didn't know about it until he told me about it. He told me how long I blacked out and everything. And the blackouts started getting more frequent, and then to the point where it was dangerous. It was really, really dangerous. I was out in the public, and I had blacked out on the bus. The bus driver thought I had fell asleep, but I didn't feel tired. I didn't even know where the hell I was. I woke up on the other side of town when I was trying to go home, and it was getting dangerous. So I went to the hospital. I told them what was going on, and they prescribed me something, but I was still having blackouts. I was still going through my health issues. It wasn't until me and him separated out of that house where I felt like I didn't have any more blackouts. Like, I felt normal again. Like, after me and him separated and he went back to his parents, I felt like I felt normal again, And like the lighting, sorry if the lighting shades you, like as you can see, it's getting darker outside. I did this video earlier this morning. I felt like I was getting normal again, and I didn't need my medication, so I got off the medication. I didn't tell him I was on medication. I didn't tell him anything because I didn't feel like he would care. Honestly didn't feel like he would care, so I didn't mention anything. Ultimately, I just got fed up with him, getting rides from women. Me and him will argue about it. I guess he got tired of me bringing it up, and then me threatening to kick him out because I was the leaseholder, that he just left. But before that, his brother left. And it's because I had enough of him. You know, I called the police on that dude and got that dude kicked out. You know, because he threatened me. He threatened me with a box cutter that he got from his Burger King job or whatever. He had a box cutter and he threatened me with it. And I told his brother, my ex, about it. He just didn't care anymore, y'all. Like, I keep saying it because he just didn't. He just didn't care no more. So I called the police, got the police to come out. They told me I had to figure out how to get him out on my own. They was not helpful at all. When is the police ever helpful? Never. Luckily for me, the police scared him enough where he was like shaking that he just left and went back to his parents. And then shortly after, so did my ex. And they just all crammed up in that Cracker Jack 1-bedroom house in our apartment or wherever the hell it was. It was weird. It looked like a house on the outside, but on the inside it had different units. I don't know, it was weird. I say he left me to go down with the ship, basically, because he knew that I had recently lost my job after getting us in that place, fighting to get us in that place. Cost me my job. Transportation issues. The place was all the way across town from my job, and I couldn't get there, and we didn't have a car, and I didn't have no one to pick me up and drop me off all the time. And the only other car that we was using was his father, and his father didn't like me, so I didn't have that option. You know, I had no other choice but to quit that job. So that's what I did. I quit that job. And he got a job, but he ended up leaving. And that's why I say he left me to go down with the ship, you know. And out of all the years that we had been together and everything we'd been through, he really left me like that. And it's like, okay, I just knew that, you know, like for a long time, he didn't love me and I didn't love him. So I knew it was what it was. You know, you live and you learn. And I learned a lot in that relationship. I learned not to settle for less, not to put up with bull. If someone cheat on me, then I'm just going to end it right there. There's no forgiving with me. There's no forgiving, because you get cheated on, you forgive them, and they do it again. It becomes a pattern. They cheat, you forgive, they cheat, you forgive, they cheat, you forgive. And that's exactly how it was with me and him. And I don't want that to happen in any other relationship. So, first sign of cheating, I ain't forgiving. There is too many good men out here that ain't gonna do that. That knows what they have. He just didn't know what he had. Like, the whole time we were together, no cheating. I cooked. You know, when he wasn't on BS, I cooked. I cleaned. I was there for him, his times of need, when he was in and out of the hospital, or his mom was in and out of the hospital, or he was going through something with his family, or he was just going through something himself. I was always there for him. Could he say the same? No. The only time I really remember him being there for me was when my father passed. And he wasn't really even there for me. I remember that day, he stayed with me for like some of that day. You know, it wasn't like he was there for me the whole day. And it wasn't like he was there for me the days on. You know, he was just there when I heard the news of my father passing. And he just comforted me a little bit. And then that was it. That was it. I wasn't there for him when his mom passed, because we were long separated. You know, long split up, you know. But I still reached out to him. And I still cared, because I looked at her as a mom figure. She was like a third mom to me. Like, I had my stepmom, I had my real mom, and she was like a third mom to me. So I reached out to him and gave my condolences. You know, I wanted to go to the funeral, but I didn't want to cause no problems with the family. There was some people in his family that wasn't fond of me for whatever reason, and, you know, on top of his father. So I didn't want to cause no problems, so I kept my distance. I did ask him where she was buried so I can, you know, go visit. But other than that, that was the end of that. Like, you know. But when he left, I was in that apartment by myself, And I was like a race against time to try to figure out what I was gonna do, like for work and stuff, so I can continue on living in this apartment. But I couldn't find a job in time. I had to sell a lot of my stuff, which I had some very valuable stuff, so I made a lot of money off of it. And I took everything that I could carry, and I got on the Greyhound and went back to my mother, my real mom. And I stayed there for not even a week. I was there for like 4 days, and me and her didn't see eye to eye. We got in an argument. The years weren't kind to her. Like she had like a horrible attitude, and like when I first got there, it was like all hugs and kisses and like catching up and all that. But then like after day 2, like day 3 came around, and we got in an argument. And the last day I was there, we got in a really big argument for 2 reasons. One reason, I was trying to help my sister become a YouTuber and help her to make some money off of YouTube. She's only 15 at the time, and my mom thought I was trying to exploit her on the internet, so she took that to mean bad, and she said that I was trying to be a negative influence on her because I'm exploiting her on the internet. So that was out of the question. And then also, I had a decent amount of money because I had sold a lot of stuff. I had saved up money, and I got a job right before I got evicted from that apartment. I found a job. I had 2 paychecks. I paid off my eviction, which became a paid eviction. But then I also had another whole paycheck plus all the stuff I sold. So I had a little over $1,000 when I went down to Cincinnati. So I had enough money to put down for a down payment on this house that me and my sisters went around the neighborhood looking at houses. And I saw a house that was like $550. I can't remember if it was like $550 or $500 a month. They only wanted $100 down payment. So I was like, I had the money to put up for that apartment or home. It was a 3-bedroom home. It looked really nice. It had a basement and everything. It did need a little work, but if my sisters were going to move in with me, which is the only reason why I wanted a 3-bedroom, I have my own bedroom. They have their own bedroom. I also wanted my mom to live with us too. As funny as it sounds, I was going to put her in the basement. It was a nice basement. We were going to lay that basement out. Like, we were going to have it like an entertainment / bedroom for my mom, so she could have her own little space. Going to have like entertainment down there, like a pool table. We had ideas like a whole live-in bar, down there. For me and my other sister, she wasn't of age, but she got some daiquiris, So that's what we were gonna lay it out. But when I brought that idea to my mom and I showed her that I had the money, I applied for the place, got approved instantly. I guess my eviction didn't hit my credit yet, so technically I didn't have an eviction or a paid eviction, because I literally got evicted, then I took all my stuff down to Cincinnati. I brought the idea up to my mom, and she literally like just went flipped out, like crazy, like 100% crazy. She literally thought, in her mind, that I was trying to move her in that house to kill her. I was like, I don't know what you smoking, Mom. I don't know what you've been drinking on, what you've been smoking, what's going on with you in your mindset. But okay, why would I do this to my mother? She's currently helping me until I can get into this house, until we can all get into this house. Why would I do this to my mom? Plus, she's my mom. Like, I'm not crazy. I'm not going out here just out. I'm out to get my mom. Like, what? And then it dawned on me, like, there must be like some type of like mold or something in this house. The apartment that she was living in, really run down. Had to be some type of like asbestos or mold going on in there, because she looked twice her age. She was aging rapidly, And mold will do that to you. Mold will take a 20-year-old, make them look 40. And you only in that house for a couple of years. So she was in that apartment for like over 10 years. I think she was like there for like 12 to 14 years or something like that. And like I said, the years were not kind to her. When I first went down there with all of my things, I didn't recognize her. Like, I remember I knocked on the door. I had all my stuff pushed to the side of the apartment. I knocked on the door. She opened it. I didn't even know it was her at first. I thought it was some old lady that was like, you know, a neighbor or something that was visiting my mom. I didn't even know it was her, honestly. And then I got a good look at her and I was like, yo, what? Like, how? You're not my mom. You're not my mom. And when I went down there, you know, I haven't talked to them in like 7-8 years. I lost touch after they had like a house fire. They didn't tell me that they went through this fire. They didn't call me up or nothing like that. We didn't have each other's phone numbers or nothing like that. The way I found out about the fire is when I was in Indianapolis, I was going to school, staying with my ex and his parents. I was a student at Ivy Tech in Indianapolis, and I didn't have very much money. I was living off of refunds. I wasn't working at the time, but I went online, and a lot of the time, you know, I miss home and, you know, my hometown, Cincinnati, Ohio, and a lot of the time I look online and look at the news for Cincinnati and see what's going on. I saw that on the news. Then I went down there to help them. I just assumed that they were in the same place, which they were. They were just in the back. The fire happened in the front. They got moved to the back. I just thought she had went completely nuts, and I went no parts of it. So I decided, I'm an adult. I was 25 at the time. It's like, I don't need to deal with this. My sisters have phones. I'll stay in touch with them the best I can, and screw you. Like, good luck with your life. I don't ever want to see you again. I'll said that to my mom. Like, I don't plan on seeing her no more. Right when I was getting ready to leave, literally, I had all my bags packed and I was getting ready to leave, she begs me to stay. She's crazy. She has bipolar, which means one minute you're happy and the next minute you're sad, next minute you're angry, next minute you're mad. And it's like, I don't want no parts. You're my mom and I love you, but at the same time, you're crazy. You're crazy. I gotta cut you off. I still left because she wasn't gonna change. She ain't changed 7 years ago. My whole life, basically, that I've known her. I haven't known her my whole life, but my dad took me when I was 4. I reunited with her when I was 10. And from 10, there on. Basically, a big chunk of my life, she wasn't there. But the times that she was there, I'm like, I want no parts. I see that you're bipolar. I see that you're crazy all the time, and I don't want no parts of it. So I left, and I got on the Greyhound, and I came back to Indianapolis with nowhere to go. And that's when I truly became homeless. Like, I was homeless for real. Like, I had no friends that I could stay with. I didn't have nowhere to go. I had nowhere to go. Didn't know what I was gonna do. I just didn't know.